17 years ago, Dad had a serious stroke. He was on his way to a job interview. His first, after being part of the one organisation for most of his working life. After the stroke, he had to work hard to regain the basics, like learning to walk again. But he was never the same. Any words of wisdom for us about life? With the passing of time, he became more incapacitated.
I think life's meant to be enjoyed.
And spent the last years of his life in his bed, his body fading, withering, curling up, a cocoon. It is only now, with his passing, that we feel finally able to reclaim who Dad really was. It's as if the weight has been lifted. I know Dad loved music. He saw the power of it to transform. He was a handy pianist, solid on the accordion, and a part-time composer of songs. Dad was also the producer of albums of gospel music. To make one of his collections, the song had to have a great melody, be thoughtfully written and theologically correct. It was common knowledge Dad's favourite singer was Cleo Lane. You're listening to her now, fresh from 1961 with a bullet. I don't ever remember her face appearing in the LP collection amongst James Last and Godspell. In fact, I can't remember him ever playing her music. He played very little music at all, come to think of it. He was always busy, that creative mind ticking away. He was always the first one up and the last one to go to bed. You'd be drawn to his study by the wafts of contact adhesive permeating down the hallway, where he'd be laying out a newsletter or brochure. Dad loved good design. He had a great eye, and he loved the challenge of creating a good backdrop for a carol service or a beach mission. And of course, he'd be out the front, leading that carol service or beach mission. Dad was a consummate performer who used his whole body in performance. In another life, he could have easily had his own TV show. Here he is in a church concert in 1981.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the greatest show on earth. Tonight, we have for you and for your enjoyment and pleasure some wonderful and exciting, daring and death-defying circus acts. The delightful and delectable Miss Natalie.
He had a great sense of humour too. At this carol service, the church was packed. No one could move.
Boys and girls, we'll look after that afterwards. And if anyone needs to go to the toilet, don't. Okay. Just signal for someone and we'll have a helicopter hoist you out. Okay. How's the Herald Angels sing?
Dad was the consummate traveller. You should have seen how he packed a suitcase. Everything had its place, ordered and folded to perfection. He also knew how to re-enter the family with that big smile of his, slipping in quietly beside Mum, resuming his place in the most gentle of ways. Wow, those haircuts date that photo. Look at me, all business at the front and party at the back. Dad was a real romantic. He loved his sweetheart. When buying ice creams for the family, he was happy to pay 12 cents to buy Tim, Joe and I a Billabong. But he would always pay the 20 cents to get Mum a heart or a gay time. Some of my favourite memories with Dad took place on the weekends. There were always chores to do outside, mowing the lawn, gardening. But if we were done in time, we'd jump in the car and head to Waverley Park and catch the last quarter. That way we got in for free. The day would always end with us charging around the oval, Dad's cheeks all red, screaming for him to drop kick the ball to us. Other times he'd take us to the new building estate at Croydon Hills and let us drive the old AP6 Valiant around. Dad was a deep thinker, always up with the latest, trying to make sense of his world and how it related to his spirituality, always evolving, never black and white.
I got a quiz question, boys and girls. Can you tell me the next few words of this line? Feed the world. Feed the world. Come on. And what goes next? What goes next? Let them know it's Christmas time. I'll say it. Feed the world. Let them know it's Christmas time. You don't tell me you've never heard that. Well, there are so many people out in the world who do need feeding. It's a good thing that sometimes people in the world get together and help to feed them. But it's even better when there are people in the world, like people like World Vision, or like the Australian Council of Churches, and all of the agencies like that, when they get together, not just to give people food, but to help them to know and to help them with resources to grow their own food and develop water resources and all sorts of things like that. And I guess for many, many years, people in Australia and around the world...
And finally, Dad was endlessly understanding. No matter what was thrown at him, he'd seek to understand why, and he'd see the best in you. I've no doubt that even if I'd become a neo-Nazi skinhead, he would have still loved me and tried to understand. In the late 70s, there was a farewell for Dad to celebrate his work as General Secretary for Script Union in Victoria. His great mate, David White, described him then as a woolly jumper. Such a beautiful description and an ideal image to hold on to, and I find it brings great comfort to me when remembering the warmth of John Lane, my father.